Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. And we begin with police in Massachusetts popping the bubble on a super spicy social media chewing gum challenge. At least 10 kids from Dexter Park School in Orange landed in the hospital after trying KidNuz's Trouble Bubble. The gum contains the same active ingredient as pepper spray. But while police-grade spray has a chili pepper Scoville heat unit rating of 1 to 2 million, the gum's own wrapper clocks its heat index at 16 million. One mom called to the school to help her 9-year-old told Western Mass News that it was something out of a horror movie. They were crying, lined up down the hall, their hands were red, their faces were beet red. Some reacted after just touching it or smelling it. The Southborough Police Department issued an alert telling anyone who comes in contact with Trouble Bubble to rinse their mouth and eyes immediately and head to the emergency room. President Biden hasn't yet officially announced whether he'll run for another term, but his party's party to kick off the campaign season now has a date and a location. The Democratic National Convention will be held at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, from August 19th to the 22nd, 2024. It'll be the Democrats' first in-person convention since the coronavirus pandemic began. The Republicans are also starting their election roadshow in the Midwest. They've chosen July of 24 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A 9-year-old heart transplant recipient is wowing the world with her positivity, gratitude, and brush with greatness. Madeline Quinn was born with a hole in her heart and has had 4 open-heart surgeries that she says allow her to live her best life. Madeline is also an up-and-coming golfer who went to the Genesis Invitational 2 months ago with a bucket list poster that included meeting Tiger Woods. According to CBS News, Tiger's caddy spotted the sign, and the next thing you know, the GOAT himself walked over, checked the box, and handed her a signed glove. Thanks to the kindness of a stranger, she also got into the gallery for the Masters. Someday she hopes to return as a player, but for now, she's content to tell her story to kids who are waiting for a heart transplant or whatever surgery they need, just to make them not nervous and more comfortable, just to have hope, she says, and not be worried anymore. The wacky weather we've all been having lately isn't over yet. This week, much of the northeastern U.S. will get an early dose of summer with record-setting temps soaring into the 80s. Out west, it's still unseasonably chilly, but the super gloom of all those atmospheric rivers is now a super bloom for California's official flower. For the first time in 4 years, poppies are popping up everywhere. And while many areas welcome flower-loving fans, the most popular viewing spot is not. Police in Lake Elsinore are out in force to protect their picturesque poppies from getting trampled by tourists and to protect locals from getting stuck in looky-loo traffic, which during the last bloom in 2019 turned short drives to work and school into 4-hour bumper-to-bumper marathons. It's an epic get-out-of-school excuse. A mom who wanted to give her daughter's teacher a heads up that she'd be missing a day for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour stop in Houston set the tone with the subject line, "It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me." Then proceeded to weave as many Swift lyrics as possible into the body of the email. I hope missing school doesn't ruin her otherwise stellar reputation, but she begged me to go, and maybe I should have said no, but I didn't want to be mean. So it goes. Anyway, I hope this doesn't leave any bad blood between you and Maddie, and that things for the rest of the year are not treacherous. She then added, "I know I did something bad, and I promise this will be the last time she has an unexcused absence before the cruel summer starts." Fortunately, Maddie's teacher is a Swiftie with a sense of humor. Her response, "This made my entire day." That's it for KidNuz. Now, today's KidNuz quiz. Police in Massachusetts are warning against a social media challenge involving what? Super spicy gum called KidNuz's Trouble Bubble. Where will both parties hold their national conventions? The Democrats in Chicago, Illinois, and the Republicans in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How many open-heart surgeries has 9-year-old Madeline Quinn had? 4. California's super bloom involves what kind of flower? Poppies. In today's Kid News Kicker, yesterday we told you about first-time Masters winner Jon Rahm of Spain. But what we've learned since is that the 28-year-old predicted he'd win a decade ago thanks to a fortune cookie from Panda Express. "I'm going to win the Masters," Rahm tweeted on November 8, 2013, with a photo of a fortune that read, "Your talents will be recognized and suitably rewarded." At the time of his bold statement, Golf Digest reports he was a sophomore at Arizona State and learning English by memorizing rap lyrics. Fast forward to last weekend, when Chinese food and a message of positivity turned into a green jacket and more than $3 million in winnings. Before we go, it's time to shout out our Kid News teachers, starting with Mrs. Johns and her Eagles at Thatcher Elementary in Thatcher, Arizona. Mrs. Kelly and her Griffins at Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy in Forest City, North Carolina. Mrs. Hopkins and her Panthers at Lakewood Elementary in Holland, Michigan. Mrs. Landsman and her Devonshire Dolphins at Devonshire in Skokie, Illinois. And Mrs. Schmidt and her Huskies at Hoover Elementary in Neenah, Wisconsin. Thanks for listening. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll see you back here for more Kid News tomorrow morning.